One busted transmission. That is all it took to wipe Ryan out. 6 months ago, Ryan was feeling pretty good about life. 35. Living in Denver. Pulling in $62,000 a year as a project coordinator. Divorce finalized. No credit card debt. A little money in his 401k. He was not rich, but he figured he was doing okay. Then, his Honda Civic died on I-25 during rush hour. Transmission. The mechanic did not even blink. $2,400 minimum. Ryan opened his banking app right there on the shoulder of the highway. $783. That was everything. And here is what nobody warned you about. That repair bill was not the real disaster. It was the first domino within 72 hours. 4 more fell right behind it. Each one more expensive than the last. By the end of this video, you will see exactly how a single emergency creates a chain reaction that can keep someone broke for years. And the one financial firewall that stops the whole thing cold. Stick around, because domino number 4 is the one that catches almost everyone off guard. Here is a stat that should sit with you for a second. According to the Federal Reserve Survey of Household Economics, roughly 37% of Americans say they could not cover a $400 emergency with cash or savings. $400. That is a car battery and a tow truck. That is one urgent care visit with a generic antibiotic. And yet, we treat an emergency fund like it is some advanced level money move. Something you will get around to after you max out your Roth IRA and optimize your credit card rewards and finally cancel that gym membership you have not used since February. But an emergency fund is not step 10. It is step 1. It is not a savings goal. It is a financial firewall. The thing that stands between one bad Tuesday and a 6-month money spiral. And the wildest part? The emergency fund itself is almost never the expensive part. Going without one. That is where the real bill shows up. Let me show you what I mean. Back to Ryan. Transmission is dead. $2,400 he does not have. Domino 1. The hit. That is the bill itself. The thing you did not see coming. For Ryan, it was the transmission. For you, it could be anything. A cracked crown at the dentist, a flooded basement, a layoff email on a random Wednesday. This is the part everyone talks about, but it is actually the cheapest domino in the chain. Domino Effect. The borrow. Ryan did not have the cash, so he put the repair on a credit card.
Slide it through.
Average credit card APR right now, north of 20%, according to the Federal Reserve. If Ryan only makes minimum payments on that $2,400, he is looking at an extra $800 in interest over 2 years, maybe more. That repair just quietly jumped to $3,200, but here is where it gets worse. And most people never see this domino coming. Domino 3. The ripple. Ryan's cash flow was already tight. Now, he has got a new credit card payment every month. So his rent payment is late. There is a $60 late fee. His auto insurance bill gets pushed. Another $25 penalty. He skips a dental cleaning because he cannot afford it right now. These tiny costs do not feel connected to the transmission, but they are. They are all aftershocks from the same earthquake. Domino 4. The squeeze. This is the one that quietly does the most damage. Ryan is stressed. He is behind. So he starts making desperate moves. He raids his 401k for $3,000 to get caught up. Sounds reasonable, right? Except now he owes income tax on that withdrawal. Plus a 10% early withdrawal penalty. That $3,000 just cost him closer to $4,000 after the IRS takes its cut. And his retirement account lost years of compound growth that he will never get back. One transmission. 72 hours, and Ryan went from doing okay to losing ground on every front. Credit, retirement, monthly bills, even his health, all because he did not have a financial firewall in place. So, how much does this firewall actually cost? You have probably heard the standard advice, 3 to 6 months of expenses. Fine. But what does that actually mean for your life? Not your salary. Your expenses. There is a big difference. The Bureau of Labor Statistics puts average household spending around $66,000 a year. That is roughly $5,500 a month. So 3 months would be about $16,500. 6 months, $33,000. Yeah, those are big numbers. But before you close this video, hear me out. What if I told you that you do not actually need the full 6 months right away? And that for most people, the right starting number is way more specific than some generic rule of thumb? Here is a better way to think about it. Look at your last 3 months of bank statements. Add up the non-negotiables, rent or mortgage, utilities, groceries, insurance, minimum debt payments, transportation. Leave out the Uber Eats, the Target runs where you went in for toothpaste and came out with a decorative throw pillow, the essentials. That is your baseline monthly burn rate. Now, and this part matters, ask yourself one question. How stable is your income? If you are a dual income household with 2 W-2 jobs, 3 months is a solid firewall. That is what Fidelity's research supports for stable income households. But if you are self-employed, single income with kids, commission-based, or caring for an aging parent, 6 months? Minimum, because your risk exposure is higher, and the dominoes fall faster when there is no backup income stream. Diane knows this. She is 52, lives outside Chicago. I've been a teacher's aide for 18 years. Her husband had a stroke last spring. Out of nowhere, the emergency room bill after insurance? $4,500 deductible. Then she had to cut her hours for 3 weeks to be his primary caretaker, lost nearly $4,000 in income. Total hit. Close to $9,000 in 8 weeks. Diane had an emergency savings account. $11,000. It covered everything. She told me later, it was not the money that saved us. It was the fact that I could focus on my husband instead of panicking about bills. That is the part no spreadsheet captures. The firewall does not just protect your bank account. It protects your decision-making, your relationships, your sleep. Now, if you are thinking, okay, I get it, but how do I actually build this thing when I am already stretched thin? Fair. Let me give you a method that actually works. I call it the 90-day sprint. Not a lifestyle overhaul, not a cut everything forever punishment plan. Just 90 days of focused effort with a clear target. Week 1 through 4. The audit, pull up your last 30 days of transactions. Every dollar. Bankrate's 2024 survey found that the average American spends over $200 a month on subscriptions alone, and most people underestimate that number by half. Streaming services, apps, memberships, that meal kit you keep forgetting to cancel. This is the low-hanging fruit. Do not just cancel randomly. Rank them. What do you actually use every week? Keep those. Everything else. Pause it for 90 days. You are not giving it up forever. You are redirecting it. Week 5 through 8. The redirect. Set up an automatic transfer, even $50 every paycheck into a separate savings account, not your checking. A separate account. The reason is simple. Money you can see is money you will spend. A high-yield savings account works perfectly here. As of right now, some are paying north of 4% APY. Your money grows while it waits. And because it takes a day or two to transfer back to checking, you have built in just enough friction to keep yourself honest. By the way, if you are watching this and already have an emergency fund, drop a comment and tell someone how long it took you. Seriously. Someone in this comment section needs to hear that it is possible. Be that person for them. Week 9 through 12. The stretch. Here is where most people stall out. The novelty is gone. The motivation dips. So set a micro goal for each week. Week 9. Sell one thing you do not use anymore. Facebook Marketplace. eBay. Your neighbor's garage sale. Week 10. Cook every single meal at home. That is 7 days. You will survive. Week 11. Find one way to earn an extra $100. Overtime. Freelance gig. Tutoring. Mowing lawns. Week 12. Take stock. How far did you get? Most people following this method can save between $1,000 and $3,000 in 90 days. Is that a full 6-month emergency fund? No. But it is a firewall. It is the difference between Domino 2 falling and Domino 2 stopping cold. Ryan did not build his emergency fund overnight either. It took him 4 months after the transmission disaster. He started with $40 a paycheck. But here's what changed. The next time something broke, it was just an inconvenience. Not a crisis. Not a chain reaction. Just a Tuesday. So here is what I want you to do today. Not tomorrow. Not when things calm down. Today. Open your banking app. Look at your last 30 days of spending. Find one subscription. Just one. You can pause right now. Take that money and move it into a separate savings account. Label it firewall. That is it. That is your first brick. If this video helped you see emergency savings differently, send it to one person you care about. Not because they are bad with money, but because everybody deserves to know what happens when that first domino falls, and most people will not figure it out until it is too late. Now, you have got your firewall started. But what happens when a bigger storm hits? What if it is not a broken transmission but a job loss that lasts 3 months? Or a medical bill that insurance will not fully cover? In our next video, we are breaking down the 5 financial emergencies that drain the most savings in America, and the specific moves that protect you from each one. You do not want to miss that. Thanks for watching. Hit subscribe if you have not, and drop a comment. Tell me, what is the last unexpected expense that caught you off guard? I read every single one